skirt. This is the fabric I'm going to be using. It's 2 years, and I'll be using this for the band, and I'll be adding lining. Also for this tie we need elastic. I'll be making use of 1 inch elastic. So let me show you how I'm going to fold it. I'll first of all fold it into 2. First of all, fold it into 2 and then into 4. So from here to here we have 30 inches, and then across we have 36 inches. So this is 2 years. So what you need for the length of the skirt is to know how to fold your fabric. Is that you will first of all get the radius. For the radius we are using hip circumference divided by 6.28 because I'm going to be adding elastic. But if you are not adding elastic, you are using just zip and band, then you use the waist you use the waist circumference to divide 6.28, and then you add your skirt length to that. Okay, so for me 46 divided by 6.28, I have about 7.3. So, and then the length of the skirt, so this year we have, let's say 7 1/4, and then the length of the skirt I have 23 inches, which is even more than enough because you are going to be adding a band. You are going to be adding a band of about 2 inches. So this length is okay. I'm going to be trimming off these rough edges. So that is how to know the fabric to fold. So the next thing now is just to mark the circumference or the radius, which is hip divided by 6.28. So I'm going to use 7, then after that I'll check if it's up to 9. So to check, you just put your tape like this. 24. So this is enough. I have 11.5. That will give us 23, and then 46, which is just perfect. So I'm going to cut along this part. I'm going to cut along this part, and then so because I'm going to be using a 2-inch band, I'm going to be adding a 2-inch band. So this will be too long for my skirt. So instead of marking, I'm going to be marking 28.5 inches or 29. Then I also mark 29 that way and then cut it. So I'm going to cut you should have a full circle like this after cutting. That is how you know that you have cut it correctly. This is what we have. And I also trim this side. We are going to mark the center of the I don't want to have any joining, so I'll just take note of the middle. So this will be the side, so I'll notch the center. I'm not going to be adding pockets. I'm going to be like this. So that is center front and center back. So it's a continuous, no pockets. Okay, so this is ready. So we'll use this leftover for the top. So for this leftover, we'll just cut it into two. So it's already into two. So one piece for the front, one piece for the back. So I have 7 inches. So after sewing, it's going to be like 6 inches. Because half inch will go into the band and then we'll fold the down part. So this will be here like this. And then this would be attached to the back side. So I'm going to run a stitch to hold both of them together. Till we get to this corner, to the side, and then also run this to get to the side. I'll do same for the back. So for the lining, the length will not get to where the skirt is. Let's say 23. So the lining will stop around 18 inches. Okay, so once I have it out like this, I'll just fold it again the same way that we cut the skirt, like this. You see? So I mark the radius. I'm going to mark it again because it has shifted. I'm using 6.5 for the lining. And just before I cut, I'll see if it will be up to 1/4 of my hip circumference. So it's up to 11.5. So I cut. So our lining is ready. It has the same shape like the skirt. So I'll just notch the side. And then the center front and the center back. So our lining is ready. So for the band, I'm going to be using this. I'm going to join here so that we can have a long piece like this. and then I'll mark the hip circumference plus seam allowance. My hip is 46, so I'll measure 47. This is 47. Let me fold it into two. So it should give me 23 and a half. Okay. So you are going to fold the band like this. And then for this side, I'm going to fold it such that so I'll just first of all fold this in like this. So I'll sew here down. I'll sew here down. I'll also sew here down. Then I'll bring both of them together. Let me just use pin to hold it in place so that I can show you what I want to do. So when I want to join it, when I'm joining it, I will not sew across. I'll leave a small opening where the rope is going to pass through. So first of all, we are going to have it like this. So I'll determine where the rope. I'm making use of 1 inch elastic. And here we have 2.5. So first of all, so this 1/2 inch is seam allowance, and then we'll be left with 2 inches. So the elastic will be in between. So you're going to stitch on it on the right side and also stitch this side. Then we'll leave small opening here so that by the time we fold it, I sew, and also sew like this. The part that is going to be left open will be where the rope will come out from. So that is what I want to do. I'm going to cut 35 because it will stretch. Let's say 34. So I'm also going to use this to cut the rope. I'll start by attaching the small one to the body of the skirt. This is what we have. This is the elastic, so let's sew the band. Half inch here, like half inch here. The middle is where the elastic will go through, this middle. So I'll sew here, then here. So I'm trying to create casing for the elastic. So this place I've sewn, I will not make the elastic to be moving up and down, to make the elastic to stay at the middle. So we are going to be using half inch to also sew here to the skirt. So take note of the place that is at the front. This part is where will be in front. So to stay on it like this. So take note of the sides. It will help us when we are joining to the skirts. So this is the side. Then the center back. Okay, so this is the elastic already joined. So let me show you. I'm going to add the elastic inside. So let me also mark here so that when I'm dragging the elastic, I know where I'm dragging. Okay. So I'll place it in like this. And then sew. So let me use pin to hold it in place first. So make sure it's not turning. So this is the center back corresponding with this part too. This to ensure that the elastic doesn't turn. Okay, so let's sew. Attach to this, to the main skirt. So this is our center front here. I marked it before. So I'll use pin to hold it in place first. So I'll place it like this. So after stitching, it will be like this. So right now it is 2.5. So after stitching, it will be 2 inches. And you feel it that the elastic is not on the way. So you stretch as you sew. Alright, so let's sew the lining. This is our lining. I've already notched center, front, and the rest. So we are going to use the lining to cover this stitch. So this is the center front. So this is it after sewing the lining. This is it. You see it's so neat. And then this is for the rope. that the elastic will be in between. So make sure you don't sew on the elastic. Alright, so I can now pass it. Like I said before, the lining, I'm just going to fold it twice. And I'm going to iron the line so I can relax. I'll weave all this part like I told you before. Then we'll come back to see what it looks like and know if we are going to fold it small or not. So I'm done with the skirt. This is what the inside look like with the lining. And then I weave here in between. So let me show you the front part of the skirt. So this is the front part. The drawstring is in place. And then I weave this edge, then decided to just leave it like that. I also weaved here and decided to leave it like that. And then I didn't join this part anymore. I just left it open. So I'm going to tack here together so that that place is neat. I'll just tack it small. Okay. So our skirt is ready. We are going to be rocking it on Sunday. This is Joidala Fashion Guide. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you are yet to. I'll see you again with another trendy style. Thanks for watching. Bye.